Out to Lansing, legislators continue to debate over how to get the money to fix the state's roads. The conference committee, well, they're supposed to tackle the issue, and work continues on a bill to expand the 6% sales tax to certain services. So far, no agreement, but the clock is ticking on the lame duck session that ends next week. So if you're irritated with all of this last-minute lame duck activity in Lansing, maybe we should be looking at what influences all of the on-the-way-out-the-door deal-making. Term limits. Nolan wrote this week, it is time to get rid of them. Nolan?
Beyond time. I never supported term limits. I thought it's an affront to democracy. You're trying to protect people from themselves. You should have a right to vote for whomever you want. If your representative is serving you well, keep electing him or her. But term limits has left us with an amateurish legislature, particularly in the leadership positions. Just about the time they learn their jobs, they're out the door. I think everybody would agree that Richardville and Bolger are a lot better leaders than they were, say, 2 years ago. Even they're getting control of their caucus, and now they're gone, and new folks. So we're going to have to get to know. They're going to have to get to know their job. It's just been a disaster. But I think the only hope of getting rid of them is to swap them from a part-time legislature, and I believe Michigan can get by with a part-time legislature.
Ooh, part-time legislature. Do you think that's going to have some traction?
Well, you do see those two issues sort of paired a lot.
Right.
Okay, we'd give up term limits if they weren't around all the time. I think they're independent ideas, and I think it's important to sort of evaluate each independently. Term limits are an awful idea. They have not done anything that we thought they would do, and they've done a lot of things that have made government much worse in Michigan. Our legislature is much less productive in terms of dealing with upfront big picture issues than it was before term limits. I think there's no question about that. Whether we have a part-time legislature is a separate question, and I don't have a problem with part-time legislature. I lived in Maryland and Kentucky, both states that have part-time legislators. They work just fine. I get nervous when we try to tie-bar things that don't really have to do with each other and say, well, this is the only way to do it. Randy Richardville introduced a bill this week to at least expand the scope of term limits. I think that's the beginning of a conversation that we can have about redoing that.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there. Thanks, gentlemen. It's always good to see you, and that is going to do it for MiWeek. Thanks so much for joining us. Make sure you find us at MiWeek.org and on Facebook and Twitter. We are there during the week. I'm Christy McDonald. For all of us at Detroit Public TV, we will see you next week. Take care.